Hey guys, Jeff Siegel here, and I want to share with you my origin story. Because you might be wondering, why am I doing this work, helping men take control of their health and wellness? And it really all begins with my own journey of struggling so hard to be with my body, in a healthy way. And so, if we flash back to earlier Jeff in my childhood, I was kind of a chubby kid. I was pretty overweight, I had a bunch of belly fat, but it wasn't really an issue. In fact, my extra belly fat was kind of a source of humor and fun, and I would laugh about it, and a bunch of the other kids, we would kind of joke about it. But at some point in my childhood, I came to internalize this belief that being fat was not okay. And all of a sudden, who I was and the body that I had was no longer acceptable. I needed to change my body. All right? And this messaging got stuck inside of me, and I started playing these little games with food, and I started controlling what I was eating, and I started restricting food, skipping meals, counting calories, and it got to the point where it was really, really destructive. There were so many foods that I couldn't eat. I didn't think that I deserved to eat. I would play these games trying to earn my meals, feeling like, how many calories did I get to earn today based upon what I did? Was I being good? Was I controlling the right things? Did I exercise enough? Right? And really, I was completely imprisoned by these beliefs around food and what I could have and what I couldn't have that were starting to just completely degrade my body. Now, there was a positive side to this, is that I learned so much about nutrition. Right? I could look at a meal and I could tell you exactly how many macronutrients and micronutrients were in there. Friends would even quiz me. They would give me different things and be like, Jeff, right, how many calories are in this item? So I got to really begin to understand about nutritional science and metabolism, but it was coming from this place of compulsion and disordered eating. And it got to the point where my body was suffering so much, all right, that I actually had to drop out of high school for a number of months to get my shit together. All right, and this involved a lot of doctors, therapists, family, friends. I was in a dark place. I was depressed, I was anxious. Only later on would I begin to learn that actually a lot of the food I was eating was contributing to this by disrupting my microbiome and keeping me in an unhealthy physiological state, which was then impacting my mood and my mind. So I began to crawl myself out of this hole. And when I came back, all I wanted was to be a healthy guy. I wanted to be a healthy man. And so I shifted my energy away from this controlling, compulsive attitude on food. And then I started to put my energy into the gym. All right? And this was both a healthy and an unhealthy expression of me trying to figure out, how can I live in this body that I've got, but within the social world that we're in that says, as a guy, I needed to be ripped and lean and muscular. And that's all I wanted, was to build big muscles. And so I learned everything I could about training and exercise science. And I became a personal trainer myself. All right? And I became obsessed with making sure I had enough protein and getting the right macro splits and trying to do all of my different muscle groups with the right training stimulus. And again, I learned so much about what it takes to keep a body healthy and strong, yet I wasn't even really doing that for myself. I was overtraining, I was under-eating, I was pushing my body to the edge, to the edge, to the edge, and not allowing myself true, real recovery. Right? And I was really beholden, trapped by this thought that I needed to look a certain way. As a guy, I needed to portray a certain image of manhood that was one of a particular ripped, muscular, macho dude. Right? And so I needed to then escape that trap again. I needed to upgrade my mindset. I needed to let go of some of these toxic beliefs about who I thought that I needed to be. And this took a lot of inner work. This took a lot of journaling, a lot of reflection, a lot of time, really getting to the core of where do these beliefs come from and whether I truly wanted to adopt them and live with them, or whether I wanted to choose my own path. And so I began to work through that and kind of set my sights on what actually mattered to me, which was a life of health and a life of longevity. Because I wanted the freedom to be able to go out and do awesome things with my body. I wanted the freedom to be able to go out not just a year from now, but 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. thinking about myself as a father and maybe one day as a grandfather, having the strength and the capacity to make sure that, all right, I could do whatever I needed to do. Right? And this involved training the right way and eating the right way, but also recovering the right way. Sleeping, doing the gentle things, doing a lot of release work, making sure that I was nurturing my body on the inside as well as on the outside. Right? And all of this focus, though, even on longevity, can also become a trap. We live in a world that is so hyper focused, right, on optimizing the hell out of everything. Right? And then you can start to get really, really restricted on your supplement regime, making sure you have the right, NADH or glutathione or micronutrients to support detoxification pathways, or you want to enhance autophagy with intermittent fasting to clean out cellular waste, to promote cellular regeneration and mitochondrial health. Right? Again, all of these are good things that you can work on, but they can become a trap when you start to get overly identified, when you start to cling to them, right? What happens is when you hold on to something so tight, all right, you either are going to destroy the thing that you're holding on to, or you're going to exhaust yourself in the process of holding on. And so what I've learned in my journey with my own body is to take all of these different pieces, right? To take the exercise, to take the nutrition, to take the lifestyle pieces, and to hold them in a way that, yes, we're making sure that they fit together, but making sure that we don't get so wrapped up in them that they become the only thing that is so important in our lives. All right? Remember, they are not just an ends, they are a means to us embodying a new type of wellness. And that's really what I care about so much. And the truth is that I'm still learning and I'm still journeying. And that's what I love about this work, is that when I work with other men helping unlock your potential, all right, it helps all of us grow together. In fact, I believe that this is something that we cannot do ourselves, that we need to work together with each other to find new ways of embodying what it means to be a mature modern man. Because the world that we're living in is changing so rapidly. The social norms are changing, all right, and the expectations put upon us are changing. And guess what? Our lifestyles and our bodies are going to change too. And so we need to learn how to work with them as opposed to against them. And this means untethering ourselves from so many of these beliefs that maybe we've just got pushed into our mind at an earlier place. And many of them were probably helpful to get us to a certain point in our journey. But as you can see from my own story, right, what got me to the first place didn't get me to the next chapter. And what got me there didn't get me to the chapter after that. I needed to unlearn a whole lot of bullshit about my body and to come into a deeper relationship where I was truly paying attention to things like my hunger and my fullness, when I was truly paying attention to my fatigue, my exhaustion, and giving myself adequate chance to rest, when I was truly paying attention to my emotions, which ones I was allowing myself to feel and which ones I was stuffing back inside, right? When I was truly paying attention to my relationships and the ones where I felt open and comfortable to be my authentic self, and the ones that I felt were draining me, that were kind of toxic, all right, and that were actually requiring more energy and effort than I thought I was getting back. And so clearing all of this out and working through all of this has helped me find a place of centeredness, right? And that doesn't mean that I don't fluctuate, because guess what? We all do, and that's life. And for me, wellness is the ability to fluctuate. It's the ability to have really lazy days and to have really, really active days. The ability to overeat sometimes because the food is absolutely delicious. And the periods, and times to go maybe without food, maybe for some sort of spiritual practice or maybe for some sort of cellular practice, but to not get so caught up in any one of these things to think that they are the holy grail to your well-being. We want to hold all of them and we want to apply them in a way that's going to work for you. And so that's what I do myself, all right? And I truly try to preach and teach and act upon what I do for me. And I just want to do the same for you. So I hope if any of my story resonates with you, please get in touch about coaching. All right, I want to work together and find out ways that we can become stronger and better together.